Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today for our almost effortless extractions webinar. Guests come in to see us for facials for many, many reasons: relaxation, skin condition concerns, deep cleansing. For a lot of us estheticians, extractions are the best part of a facial treatment. Unfortunately, however, it's not the most pleasant part of the facial for our guests. A lot of congestion, deeply clogged pores, impacted blackheads. These take time and effort and sometimes a little pain to remove. While our guests are happy to have clearer skin, the painful process can definitely kill the relaxation of a facial treatment. We are really able to make a huge difference in the appearance of our guest skin by helping to clear out congested pores. For some of us, it is a very satisfying endeavor. There's even a number of YouTube channels dedicated to popping pimples for our entertainment. Wouldn't it be great if we could minimize the discomfort for our guests or make the whole process faster and easier for us? If we properly prepare the skin for extractions, we can easily perform almost painless extractions for our guests. As with many aspects of our licensure, different states have different rules. There are a few states where estheticians are not allowed to extract clogged pores. Some states only allow the use of fingertips or cotton rounds to extract. Others allow machines, comedone extractors, lancets, etc. to assist. Be sure that you are adhering to your state's aesthetics laws when you are offering your facial services. Now, we've already discussed acne issues and Ilike Organic Skincare's acne solution, so we're not going to go through all of that again. If you want to revisit that, please see our Organic Acne Solutions webinar to revisit. That is on the YouTube channel. But I'd like to recap the basic grades of acne and congestion and possible causes while we're discussing extractions today. When we're discussing acne, we're talking about clogged pores. Oftentimes, dead skin and excess oil are to blame for clogging pores. If a pore is open, the congestion oxidizes when exposed to oxygen and becomes darkened, which will result in an open comedo or a blackhead. If the pore is closed, we'll see a closed comedo or a whitehead. Bacteria can build up in this blockage, and our immune system can be triggered to fight it. Papules are what we call raised bumps that are caused by the bacteria, but they don't contain fluid or pus. If the immune system responds to the bacterial infection, these bumps can have an accumulation of white blood cells and debris, which will result in a pustule. We classify acneic skin in grades, depending on the severity and the type of the acne that is present. Grade 1 acne is very mild. It's non-inflammatory, and it's characterized by a few open comedones. Grade 2 is more moderate, often includes blemishes in greater numbers. Blackheads, whiteheads, papules, and pustules may be present in grade 2 acne. Acne becomes more severe, or grade 3, when there are more blemishes and the inflammation is more pronounced. Grade 3 acne is more prone to scarring, as this type of acne extends deeper into the skin and can spread or even be deepened by extractions. And finally, grade 4 acne is the most formidable and difficult to treat. Likely to scar, grade 4 acne is referred to as cystic and should be seen by a dermatologist in order to minimize long-term damage to the skin. Grades 1 and 2 are the classifications that estheticians will generally treat. We may see guests with grade 3 acne on occasion, but it's generally recommended to work along with a dermatologist who can prescribe antibiotics to help fight the bacterial infection and prevent spreading. The facial that we're going to demonstrate today is extremely beneficial for guests with grades 1 to milder grade 2 acne issues. Guests who have very oily skin will also benefit, as this technique will help to clear excess oil from the skin and then calm down the oil production following the treatment. We will demonstrate the use of an ultrasonic spatula to assist with extractions. Research shows that ultrasonic facials work on a deeper level than traditional facial techniques. Using ultrasonic vibrations, the spatula deeply penetrates the skin to remove dead skin cells, dirt, and debris. Other benefits of the ultrasonic spatula are that it promotes cellular renewal and repair. It also helps to tone muscles, increases our circulation, and can even help combat puffiness. It will also assist in the penetration of many of our skincare products. Linda, our Director of Operations, is a huge advocate of using the ultrasonic spatula to assist with clearing out the pores. David, one of our amazing customer service account managers, volunteered to let us demo this facial on him. We did this facial on Friday on him, and we recorded it. Before the recording started, I prepped his skin using the lemon cleansing milk, the mineral exfoliating wash, the rose hip toner, and the rose hip exfoliator. I then massaged his skin with our saponaria and linaria massage cream for about 10 minutes to warm it up and help prep it for Linda. This massage cream is especially helpful in our acne facials as it helps to loosen congestion in the skin with the help of the soapwort flower. Now, I will admit, during this facial demonstration, I was recording and I did the cardinal sin of holding the phone in the wrong position. So this is a vertical recording, and I apologize in advance for that. It is very nice and clear, though, so you can definitely see what we're doing. One of the things as I was beginning to edit the footage, one of the things that I realized was that the ultrasonic spatula, although it's not terribly loud in the room with us, the phone picked up a lot of that vibration and noise, and I'm going to actually mute that part of the facial demonstration so that you guys don't have to listen to constant buzzing for about 20 minutes. I'll explain what Linda was doing during that portion of the facial as that part of the video is playing. So after I massaged David's face and I got his skin nice and warm and helped loosen up that congestion as best I could, Linda took over the treatment with the ultrasonic spatula. So let's watch that video and of her doing that facial here. And again, I will have to mute when she's actually doing the ultrasonic spatula portion. But until then, you can hear Linda talking. So here we go.
Hey everyone, it's Linda here. I don't show up often on the videos, but we happen to be demonstrating one of my personal favorites to train, which is the almost painless facial, or extractions, I should say. This technique is done after you do cleanse, tone, exfoliation, then you get your magnifier, take a look, where do you have your issues, where are the clogs, what do you want to focus on, all the usual things. After that, then we've taken massage cream, and we've already prepped his skin a little bit. This is David. It's very nice to have the facial. But we've already prepped his skin a little bit with massage technique. The areas that you want to focus on to create some additional friction and heat are where you have a pore that is severely clogged, where you're going to do some additional work on the skin. Now, with painless extractions, what we mean is we're using the spatula. So it's the sonic spatula or scrubber or, I don't know what else they call it, but they call it lots of things. So the technique that we use is just not using the massage cream or moisturizing the face. We're actually going to cover the face. And there are two techniques that you can use to cover the face. Now that we've done the massage cream on the face and we've focused in, we've created some heat on the skin. This technique can work with any skin type. So this goes from your acne skin to your driest of skin. We want to create that massage, friction, get the heat going. Now, the technique is to cover the face with either a gauze, which is the green version. So we're going to place the gauze on the face and lay it down. The other thing you want to do first and foremost, which I forgot to mention at the beginning, is make sure your client is not claustrophobic. You're funny, David. Okay, he's not claustrophobic because, anyway, we love you, David. So place the gauze, and you're going to take a warm, dry towel, and we're going to wrap the face with the warm, dry towel. You want to make sure that they can breathe. But you also want to make sure the area of the nose, which is usually the most clogged, that you've got it wrapped over so that that heat is there. Now, the other way to do this is to do possibly a partially green version, in which case the area that's the most congested, you take a little piece of saran wrap, and again, you want to make sure that they can breathe. So we're not going to cover the nose, or the opening of the nose, but we're going to go across the bridge of the nose, make sure it's tucked in around the corner of the nostrils. And the saran wrap helps to additionally hold that extra heat a little more than the gauze. And for the rest of the face, you can place the gauze over, or if on someone who's got some acne and you need a little more, you can take another little strip and place it across the chin area. We're not taking the massage cream off before we do this. We're leaving the massage cream on because we want the oil from the massage cream to help loosen the congestion that's within the pore and open it, allow it to open up. So then when we go to do the spatula, everything just pops up very easy. Now, are you still going to have to do manual extractions? More than likely. But one of the things that we hear the most, and I've heard for years now traveling across the country, is that it's a love-hate relationship with extractions. We know we need them, but we don't want them because it's going to be painful. The guest hates it. As estheticians, you all love it because it's like, ooh, look at that. But for the guest, it's not that pleasant of an experience. So this is a way to make it a pleasant experience. So now that we've done that, we're going to leave this on for maybe 5 minutes, depending on the congestion of the individual, and then we'll take it off. I'll take the towel off, roll a section at a time using the spatula. So we'll be right back. Okay, so now that David is nice and warm, we're going to remove the towel, and you can drape it across the neck, shoulder area. We've got our spatula ready, and this one it calls for peeling mode. Others will say sonic mode, so whatever that peeling mode is. When we use the spatula, we're going to be using it with the edge down at roughly a 30-degree angle in that peeling mode. The other way you can use your spatula, of course, is to flip it over so you have the flat edge, and you're going to put it into a moisture mode, so it's a slower pulsation. It will push any serums down. You can also use it as a massage mode so that you're getting a lifting action, which then also helps to stimulate the collagen. And the mode that we're using is for cleaning. And it's coming on. Now, when the setup, we like to have either a bottle of water to mist or you have a saturated pad. The skin's got to stay damp as we do this technique. So usually I use a saturated pad. That way I can still work with that at the same time I'm working with the spatula. But you're free to mist as well. It just may drip down. Your guest may not like that. The other thing that you want to have available is pads to wipe the residue of the cream and any of the congestion off the skin. So, okay, so now we're on peeling. You're going to have a sonic vibration. We're going to start at the bottom.
Unfortunately, at this point in the recording, this is where you could hear that ultrasonic spatula vibrations really get picked up by the microphone on our phone camera here, so I do apologize for that. So I'm going to just kind of describe what Linda is doing. She did mention that we want to keep the skin nice and damp, so right there she is using a saturated 4x4 to press a little more water onto David's skin. The idea is to gently glide the ultrasonic spatula across the skin, across the face, not to push it in. We're not pushing out the congestion like we do extractions. We're just gently gliding the ultrasonic spatula across the face. And you can see there's a little bit of debris that is collected on the spatula. That is a combination of some oils from David's skin, a little bit of congestion, as well as, of course, the saponiarea and linearia massage cream, which we have left on the skin. She mentioned that we want to hold the spatula at about a 30-degree angle. Another thing to point out is generally on a woman's skin or on someone's skin that does not have facial hair, we would be using the ultrasonic spatula going straight up, lifting those little fine vellus hairs and really getting the congestion out that way. Because David does have a little bit of stubble, a little bit of that facial hair, we don't want to go straight up against the grain of that hair because that would be really uncomfortable for him and it could cause some irritations for him later on. So she is going at a slight side angle, not necessarily straight side to side, but at a little bit of an angle going across his face. Here she goes up the chin, and you see that blackhead that just came right out from his under lip area. You can see that congestion that is sitting on top of that spatula right now, which she will wipe on one of the little cotton 4x4s. But that just popped right out. Oftentimes using the ultrasonic spatula, you will loosen the congestion enough that you can go back through and wipe it off. Or if it's really deep, you can go back in with an extractor or Q-tips maybe and get out whatever's left in the skin. But that particular blackhead just came right out at us. So she's going to continue going across his chin area. He does have a bit of congestion in that part of his face. So she's wanting to make sure that she concentrates really well on that chin. But again, we don't want to be too irritating with his beard. And she is keeping that dampened cotton gauze very handy throughout the whole time she's doing this facial. You can see there, he's got a little bit of dry skin and some congestion in those pores. Those little white dots, that is congestion and debris that we have loosened up in his skin using that ultrasonic spatula. We can go over them a few times, and then if they don't come up, then we can go back in and extract them, and it's going to be a lot less painful for him because we've already worked them most of the way out of the skin. We do want to be sure with this method that we go right across the lip. These days we're all using lip balms, and for those of us that use a lot of lipstick, it tends to collect on that outer edge of our lip, and this is a great way to loosen up any congestion that has collected in that delicate area by your lip without having to put too much pressure and pain in that area like you do using an extractor or even a Q-tip to extract. So make sure you concentrate on that lip area. And again, please be sure that you are keeping the skin nice and damp so that you have a good glide. You don't want any drag with that ultrasonic spatula. The spatula is a great way to loosen up any congestion that is right by the nostrils. That things tend to collect in that area. That's where our oils tend to collect, and we do oftentimes end up with a lot of open comedones right by our nose. So the ultrasonic spatula is a really gentle way of being able to get into that tight area, that tight space there, and loosen up whatever congestion may be there. You can see as she just went over his upper lip area, she did get out a little bit more debris. You could see that collecting on the surface of the ultrasonic spatula. Now she's going to work on his nose area. You can see that we did a really good job working up the circulation in his skin to warm him up. His cheeks are not usually that rosy, so we really got him nice and warm. And then having that saran wrap, the gauze, and the warm towel over the top of it really helped to seal in that extra heat to keep that saponiarea and linearia massage cream nice and damp. And you can take the ultrasonic spatula and manipulate it in a number of different angles. You obviously don't need to go straight across or straight up and down. You can kind of work in the opposite direction of the pore, or you can work in the direction of the pore, and either way is going to really loosen up that congestion. And depending on the type of debris and the amount that's in there, how long it's been there, we may need to do both directions to really get things nice and loose. You can see a little bit of the mist that is coming off of that ultrasonic spatula. That's a great indicator that we've gotten his skin nice and damp and it's the right moisture level to be able to glide that spatula across his skin. If you don't see that little light mist, you may be dragging a little bit. So we want to be sure that we're adding enough water to get that little bit of misting action. I will point out, too, this was David's first facial ever, so we weren't able to get everything out of his pores like we wanted to. And I do feel bad because obviously this isn't a really nice and relaxing service for him with all the lights on and the cameras going. So I promised him that I would give him a facial next week where we can get out more of the congestion, but also he can relax just a smidge. I owe him one, I promised. As you're going through with the ultrasonic spatula, you can really touch on the skin like she's doing. Just kindly, lightly run your finger across the skin, and you can feel if there has been debris that you've loosened that maybe hasn't completely come out yet. It will feel a little bit rough to the touch. So you can continue to use the spatula as long as that skin stays damp until that's nice and smooth to the touch. You can see that little piece of congestion there that wants to stay in, but I think she eventually gets it. There she goes. Now, as she's beginning to start to work on his forehead, again, of course, she is dampening the skin. One of the first areas that she goes to, though, is the eyebrow area. Now, many of us are using makeup and pencils and whatever else to color in our brows. And so even washing our face isn't necessarily cleaning all of that debris out. So we are seeing more and more blackheads and even closed comedones in the eyebrow area these days. So this works beautifully to lift up those individual hairs and to get in there and really get any congestion loosened up and possibly out of the skin in an area that's usually somewhat difficult to see. Going against the grain of the eyebrow hair growth is a great way to really lift up each hair and really make sure that you're hitting the skin underneath it instead of just smoothing over the top of it. T-zone area is generally an oily area for those of us that have a little more oil to our skin. So you will see more debris and more oil coming up from the skin on the forehead and in the nose area. And again, we can see that nice light misting, so we know that his skin is damp enough to get some good glide, a good slip with that spatula. We also want to be sure that not only are we working on the forehead and the eyebrow area, but right up by the hairline, we do tend to get a little more congestion. The hair products we're using, our perspiration, our oils, those kinds of things tend to collect right at our hairline. So we want to make sure that we go all the way up and even lift up the little headband or whatever hair wrap we have to make sure that we're getting right at the hairline. She just goes back in here at the end and kind of touches up a couple of places where he had some congestion to make sure that she's got everything out that will come out with the spatula. And now she's cleaning off the spatula, so I believe that we can turn the sound back on her video so we can hear her talking rather than listening to that really loud noise. She's right now using a warm steam towel, which was incredibly hot, I guess, to remove the rest of the saponaria and linaria massage cream that's on his face. And then she will go back in with a cool towel.
Stimulant after. It's the same thing as if you were doing a hot and cold bath or plunge. So the oil glands have now been stimulated. So in the next 20 minutes, all they're going to want to do is go back to work, and you'll be able to go sliding. We don't want that. We want to maintain a nice, clean, matte finish. Okay. You are forewarned. We have a cold towel coming. Definitely warn them this is cold, because otherwise they'll jump. Okay, feel that?
Mm-hmm.
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I really want to cool the skin down. I'm going to cover it and press that in so that we're calming the skin, cooling it down, making it cold, so that the oil glands don't feel like they have to go back to work. Because if we don't, you end up with a little engine that could. I feel the same way about ultrasonics. Everybody uses those, various electrical, other tools, and it's too stimulating for an oily skin. I understand why they want to use it, but once a week is good, and then they need to be instructed to use an ice-cold rinse, or even take an ice cube in the heat of the summer and cool their skin down. and he's still a little warm. He's actually radiating. I can feel it through the cold. So you want to make sure that it's really getting nice and cooled down so that you're not feeling the heat coming off their face. Cheeks, forehead's good. Nose is good. Just double. How's that feel with the cold? Good. Okay. Now, hyaluronic elixir. Oily acne skins, oily skins can use. It's a pure drink of water for the skin. It's double weighted, so you have a small molecular structure that penetrates deeply into the skin, and you have a larger molecular structure that stays toward the surface of the skin. It is the drink of water. What do we play with oily and acne skins all the time? I'm oily, but I'm dry. I got flakes. This helps to alleviate that because that's all that's in here. It takes very little, but after we've done this piece, we want to make sure that he's well hydrated. So you're only going to use about a quarter of a dropper. A little goes a long way. If you use a whole dropper, you've got enough from your bust up. I will take it and I pat it into the skin. One area, oily skin, need help around the eyes. We all do. Make sure that we're patting around the eyes. Just pressing it into the skin. It goes in and it's gone. It leaves no residue on the surface of the skin. Okay. Then for David, the next thing we're going to do is a rose hip mask. So we're going to do the rose hip mask on top of the hyaluronic elixir. That's going to help penetrate that drink of water deeper into the skin. Rose hip mask is going to also be cooling because of the peppermint. I don't do this all the time, so I am not the neatest in the application. It's a thin layer. Kind of looks and feels a little bit like honey. Like I said, I don't do this all the time. You guys know the techniques. Everybody has their, we're going to sweep it up and do all those things. I'm not pretty. But because of the peppermint, we want to make sure we don't get it too close to the eye. Okay. Now that we've put a nice thin layer on, this is going to stay on for approximately 10 minutes. So while this is on, you can do a hand massage, you can do a scalp massage, you could do a foot massage. There's any number of extra treatments that you can do. Okay, so now we're ready to remove the mask. Again, oily skin. We've just cooled it off. So we don't want anything too hot. So you want to make this very lukewarmish for mask removal. Again, I'm going to place everything on. And wipe off the remainder. David's skin soaked up quite a bit of it. I like Otherwise, tone. Everybody tones after mask. I do. Bring the skin back to a pH balance. Also removes any residue that may have been left on. And don't leave cotton fuzzies in the beard. Sorry, David, if you're taking cotton.
I love it.
Okay. I know, it's lunchtime, you're hungry, right? Okay. So then, we're going to do just a tad bit of the sulfuric moisturizer, and that's all I'm going to use. So it's not a ton, and it literally is just moisturizing the tips, placing it in the areas that he needs some additional hydration, which was around the neck because we saw some flaking. The sulfuric will help to control oil as well. Okay, come on, Cotton Fuzzy. It's just very light, very pat in. So the skin's dewy and it's moist, but it doesn't feel heavy. And it smells good. Now the last thing we're going to do, this is our mattifying serum, and this is probably one of my personal favorite products. Oops, got to turn it around that way. There we go. One of my personal favorite products. The reason I like it is mattifying serum helps to absorb additional oil. So it's the last thing that goes on. It helps to heal the skin. So where we've got breakout, it acts as an antibacterial agent, protects the skin, fights the free radicals. It's got a little bit of a tint in. Now, the difference with applying this is it's a pat-on. It's not a rub-on. You will not like it if you try to rub it on. And you can reapply it as your day goes on. So I've taken a little, and where he's got breakout, patting on. You'll see it acts a little bit as a concealer, but that goes away. The skin absorbs it. But it leaves it with a nice matte finish. Boy, I did a number with the cotton pad. Nice matte finish, helps to, like I said, fight off those free radicals, fight off the bacteria. This is going on the areas that he is most oily, around the chin, around the nose. This can be reapplied right over makeup if they wish, or at the end of the day if you're going out after work. It doesn't get really oily out, just in around the mouth and the nose area. Worked with a product like this 20, 30 years ago, and made by a pharmaceutical company. And it was one of the best oil control products. So in that period of time, I've not found another product anywhere near it. This is the first time with mattifying serum. And we've got other clients who rave about it as well. All right, so now David is all set. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, give us a call, and we will do our absolute best to answer those questions and help you out.
All right, so a couple of things that I just want to make sure that I point out about the demonstration that Linda did there is that after the ultrasonic spatula, it's very, very stimulating for the skin. We stimulated with a massage, we added some heat, we did an ultrasonic spatula. The oil glands are really stimulated to produce more oil, so we need to calm them down and cool them down right after that ultrasonic spatula in order to keep them from creating excess oil after that facial treatment. So she did put a very cool towel on his face. It was actually cold. We had it sitting in ice water for about an hour before she actually applied it to his skin. She also then followed that up with the peppermint in the rose hip gel mask. That peppermint oil is really nice and cooling and refreshing, and the rose hip is anti-inflammatory to really calm and cool his skin down. So those were a couple of things I wanted to make sure that I pointed out there. I hope this has been informative for you. I really hope that you learned a little something about using your ultrasonic spatula. If you have questions at all, please feel free to call us at the office. Our number here is 888-290-6238, and we are always available to help you whatever you may need. Thank you for attending today. Thank you for listening to our webinar presentation, and thank you for partnering with ilike Organic Skincare. Remember to always live beautifully.